Over the next few minutes, we will show you what bank feeds are and we'll show you how they work. Matching transactions from a printed bank statement to transactions in your accounting system can be a time-consuming and tedious process in a manual reconciliation. Automating the matching process can save you a lot of time, especially if you have many transactions to reconcile. You automate the matching process using electronic statements that you download from your financial institution. You can download and then automatically reconcile bank and credit card statements in Open Financial Exchange (OFX) format and bank statements using bank feeds. Bank feeds enable you to download transactions from your bank with a click of a button and then automatically match those transactions to transactions in Sage 300. This makes bank reconciliation faster and easier. Let's see how to connect to bank feeds and how to reconcile electronic statements. Note that during the process of connecting a bank feed, you'll need to enter your online banking information. Make sure you have this information handy before starting. We use a Reconcile e-Statements screen in the Sage 300 desktop to connect a bank feed. To open this screen, go to Common Services, Bank Services, Bank Transactions, and select Reconcile e-Statements. In the bank code field, enter the code for the bank you are connecting to a bank feed. Then click Connect Bank Feed. If this is the very first bank feed that has ever been connected in your Sage 300 system, you must enter an email address for bank feeds communications. This email address is used to communicate information you may sometimes need to reactivate a bank feed. For example, your bank may deactivate a bank feed if it's not used for a period of time. To reactivate your bank feed, you'll need to enter a code, and the code will be sent to your email address. Agree to the terms and conditions and click Get Started. Select your bank, enter your banking credentials and select the account. Choose a start date for your historical transactions. The system will attempt to download historical transactions as of that date. Click Process, then click Finish. Establishing the connection between Sage 300 and your bank may take some time, so you may not immediately be able to download transactions from the bank feed. Once a connection is established, you can download and then automatically reconcile transactions. Once you have connected a bank feed, you can get transactions from the bank feed in either the Sage 300 desktop or in the Sage 300 cloud web screens. You need to follow several steps to reconcile an electronic statement. First, you download transactions in the Reconcile e-Statements screen. Then, you use the Reconcile e-Statements screen to match transactions from the electronic statements to transactions in Sage 300, to enter bank transactions, and to manually clear or write off any unmatched transactions. After, you check the Summary tab to ensure that the ending balance from the bank statement matches the ending balance in your Sage 300 system. Then, print the withdrawal status and deposit status reports, which are not available after you post the bank reconciliation. Finally, post the reconciliation using the post-reconciliation screen. Let's see how to complete some of these steps. To download the transactions, open the Reconcile e-Statements screen from the Bank Transactions page and enter the code for the bank you are reconciling. Press Tab and click Get Transactions. Select the reconciliation date and cutoff date. At this point, the Reconcile e-Statements screen displays downloaded transactions that were processed by the bank before the reconciliation cutoff date. When you select the Automatically Clear Reconcile Transactions option and click Reconcile, automatically matched transactions are immediately cleared from the table, leaving only transactions that you must reconcile manually. This option can save you time if you have many transactions to reconcile. However, If more than one transaction uses a given amount, it is best not to select this option to ensure that you clear the correct entry. You can specify whether to reconcile amounts for the individual receipts that make up deposits or reconcile deposit totals. The method you choose applies to all the deposits in the current reconciliation. You should select the method that is consistent with the presentations of deposits on your bank statement. Select Transaction to reconcile each receipt or receipt-related amount. You can select this option if your bank statement includes details of individual receipts. Select Deposit Slip to reconcile one amount for each deposit slip. To match by deposit slip, the Sage 300 deposit slip number must match the transaction number, reference, or comment in the e-statement. After this, click Reconcile to match transactions from the e-statement to Sage 300 transactions. At this point, Sage 300 transactions are automatically matched to transactions from the electronic statement if they have the same transaction amount and meet at least one of these criteria. For payments, the check number in Sage 300 matches the transaction number or reference in the e-statement. The reference in Sage 300 matches the reference number or comment in the e-statement. The description in Sage 300 matches the transaction number, payee name, or payee ID in the e-statement. The payee vendor name or ID in the Sage 300 matches the payee name or payee ID in the e-statement. And for deposits, the transaction number, like the check number in Sage 300, matches the transaction number, reference, or comment in the e-statement. The reference in Sage 300 matches the reference, comment, or transaction number in the e-statement. The description in Sage 300 matches the payee name or payee ID in the statement. Or the customer name or customer ID in Sage 300 matches the payee name or payee ID in the e-statement. When matching is finished, you can close the message box that appears. The cleared status for unmatched transactions changes to yes. If you selected to automatically clear reconcile transactions option, only unmatched transactions appear on the table. You can now clear unmatched transactions you identify as bank entries. For example, bank service charges that you have not yet entered in your Sage 300 system. For this, select the transaction and click Bank Entry. In the bank entry screen that appears, enter the transaction details, including details if the entry is taxable. Then process the entry and close the screen. You can then clear other unmatched transactions. For this, select the transaction and click Clear. In the detail screen that appears, select the matching detail on the table and clear. And close the screen. You can now close the Reconcile e-statements screen. If a message appears asking whether to process the entries now, click Yes. After finishing with the Reconcile e-statements screen, print the withdrawal status and deposit status reports, which are not available after you post the bank reconciliation. And post the reconciliation using the post-reconciliation screen. Congratulations, you now know what bank feeds are and how they work.